Seattle Sounders crash out of the MLS playoffs 1-0. They take a 1-0 loss to LAFC, and they move on, LAFC, to play Houston in the conference finals, and the season is done for Seattle Sounders. I'm Asfida Mara Ere, and you know Russell Brown, but we have a special guest to my right. That is Marissa Sexsmith from Seattle. You, by all means, welcome, Marissa.
Thank you.
All right.
For having me.
Yeah, okay, whatever. What did you see today?
Oh, God. I thought I was going last. I saw a lack of finishing.
Yep.
Not enough pressure.
That's too good.
Took my points.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's why we bring the experts, because now we're done with the video. No, really, really good points, just in terms of, what did you see in the lack of finishing there?
And I go back to the first 15, because Schmetzer talked about it in the post game. It's, if Jordan scores that goal, if Atencio scores that goal, the press conference is different, the vibe is different, everything's different, but you can't live by what ifs. So it's tough, in LAFC. Gets the Sounders out on a counter, which was a play that could have been defended differently, but at the end of the day, mistakes happen. LAFC capitalized on their true only great chance in the first half, and they ride that to a victory. We can go on time wasting and officiating and all that, but the Sounders had chances to win this game. And as Marissa said, you got to convert the chances you have, and they didn't.
I disagree.
Of course.
I don't think they had that many chances. I think it was a lack of finishing,
No.
but they really did not have as many chances as,
But they had good chances.
Maybe 2 or 3, right?
That's all you need, though. LAFC converted. That was my point. They converted the chance they got. Sounders did not.
There's been an inability to finish here by the Sounders all season. We've sat here, Marissa, you haven't been with us, but just in terms of, soccer. And what did you mean by pressure? Because that's a really good point. What pressure did you see or did you not see?
In the first half, they didn't really have many chances. And then in the second half, they just weren't getting in the box.
Brilliant, because I totally agree with that, and that's what I'm saying. They didn't have enough runners in the box.
Nope.
We were up there in the press box, going back and forth a little bit about where should Jordan play, but there was just a lack of multiple runners in the box.
Yes.
It takes more than one player to make a change in there, so that's a really good point. And that's been the case all season.
It's been a case for multiple seasons, especially on crosses. And I know I sound like a broken record and people are probably tired of it, but the Sounders do not win enough aerial battles in their own box. And it's frustrating. And we can talk about runners. The back post running, I think, was not enough. I think too many times that back post runner pinched in instead of staying at the back post. I think too many times we had somebody up top. The Sounders had too many people up top open, and instead they whipped it into a box that was easily cleared by LAFC. You got to win the aerial battles, and I know, it's, Raul is not the biggest of strikers, Jordan's not the biggest of strikers, and, this and that, but at some point you got to start winning those to be a competitive club.
And I say that it part of that is winning the second ball. And there's a lack of that. You really, you're not always going to be that your front man's going to win that aerial battle, but it's that second runner. It's that okay, we don't win that ball, but it gets tipped to somebody running into the box. And really, it's the lack of cohesion between the 3 blocks.
Yeah.
And that was really the thing that you saw in their loss to FC Dallas in the second game. When the 3 blocks get stretched, there was a lack of cohesion on defense and offense. And you saw a lack of chances. So, any other observations you saw? Any other observations you saw today? Besides, yeah. What'd you think about the goalkeeper?
That was all right. I thought the chance could have been saved.
Okay.
Ooh.
Jesus.
I like that. It's spicy. I like it.
She's you bring it to Seattle,
Yeah.
Houston. She's on top of it, former soccer player. And she's right, though.
No, I don't think it all goes on Steph. I think it goes on Yamar, obviously, a little bit as well. Obviously, Alex was up the field, and Spencer said, they wanted him to be up that far, to make them defend. But I think there was multiple pieces that broke down. Yes, Steph has made great saves before, but it can't always be on him as well. Krapia obviously had a brilliant game. He made 2 huge saves in the first 20 minutes to kind of dictate this game. I would say he's the MVP for LAFC plus his time wasting down here, which is part of the game. Again, Sounders said they probably would have done the same thing, but
I didn't say that.
hey, they did. You were over there talking with your connections, and I was listening to mine. And Albert said that, you know, if the Sounders would have gone up, they probably would have done the same thing. It's soccer. That's what you do. But my takeaway, and it's, you know, you got to get a finisher in here. You got to get a striker. Jordan's not a true striker. If Raul's going to continue to be banged up, I know he has one more year. You got to get someone up top that knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. That's my takeaway going into 24.
Okay, well, we weren't going to go there. What we're going to do is going to go hear some post-game video. We'll do that, and we'll give our takeaways since you gave yours. But here is some post-game video from the players and Brian.
Hey Brian, I'm just wondering, just from above it all, just the suddenness into the season.
Yeah, it sucks. The suddenness, after a long layoff, there wasn't any flow really to the end of the year. But I mean, losing like this certainly hurts. The opportunity was there to have another home game. So it's right now the guys are hurting, and even some of the coaching staff, some of us old guys are hurting a little bit too.
Thanks.
All right, other hands on this side of the room.
One mistake. We're a little unbalanced. It's not just on Jaimar. We're a little unbalanced, a little higher up the field. Josh and JP, where were they in that moment? How did the ball turn over? Jaimar thinks it's going to another player. Alex, we wanted Alex to get higher up the field. We wanted Bouanga to have to defend. But again, in that moment, they made a play. So credit to them.
I mean, just the game, disappointment of having, we worked so hard towards the end of the season to have the home field advantage for games like these. Just disappointed, man, for all the fans that came out, for ourselves. It's been a long season, and, to lose it at home is a disappointment. So, right now I'm not, thinking about, what's going to be next week or anything like that. I think it's going to take a couple of days, to process the game.
We'll kind of stay in game. Despite their, them trying to slow down the game, y'all did have some chances the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like they had one good chance, and that was the goal, They were clinical in that moment. They scored, and they didn't really need to attack anymore, It's a one game, and they had the lead, and they were protecting the lead, although we did create chances, especially second half, and we put them under pressure, set pieces, stuff like that. It just didn't go our way. We were missing today that final piece. I feel like the last pass or the shot or the touch, for the guy to shoot it was, it was not as sharp as previous games.
Disappointment, obviously. I think more disappointment, missed opportunity, just because I think we're playing a really good opponent today, and it's almost like a final. And whoever advances out of this game gets an incredible, I think, boost.
Okay, so we're back, and there, you heard from the players, a little bit of Brian Smetsler just talking about the suddenness of the end of the season, how he was proud of the team, and I think everybody can say that, but there is definitely going to be some changes. Changes are coming, and what did he say? Change is constant. I love that line.
Especially in professional sports.
Yeah, the only constant in life is change. So speaking of that, you only saw one game, but if Magic won, what do you think the Sounders need for next season? What would it have taken for them to win this game?
More cohesion, working better together as a group. I think there was a bit of a disconnect.
Boom. We should bring it back.
Should.
I mean, she's dropping bars. I totally agree as well. I think when they get less disciplined in those 3 blocks, and when I mean the 3 blocks, we're talking about the forward block, and then we're talking about the midfield and the back line. When they get stretched, to your point, Marissa, that's exactly what happened on the goal, and that happened at FC Dallas, and all their losses. That's what's happened. So, and I don't know whether that's a coaching thing, that they have to kind of change that. And they do need to bring in a striker, to your point. Anything you want to add? What kind of striker?
Am I allowed to say my future for
That's
the
what
club
you already
now?
said, but
I was
go
just
ahead,
making
add
sure.
to it.
So my takeaway was that if we had a striker in this game, things would have been different. That's why they need to bring it into 24. What I'd like to see different is what Schmetzer kind of said. You got to let go of certain, you hold on to things for sentimental reasons. Nico faded. Raul faded. There's times where you gotta let go of, gosh, these guys really did a lot for this club, and move on and get fresh blood and get that new star in here. The clock is ticking on Jordan, Christian, other players on this team. I think injecting fresh new talent where they go so veteran, maybe getting younger talent in and getting a new breath of fresh air into this club that's become kind of that old man in the MLS. I think injecting new life into the club is what's needed for 24.
All right, and we promise that next season we won't fade, and we'll inject some new life in the post game on the pitch, and we'll bring in stars like this. And so, Marissa, thank you for coming on the show. And Russell Brown, as always, you the roll dog. Without you, we couldn't do this, and especially y'all that are watching and listening, we couldn't do it without you. Post game on the pitch, and we'll be back next season.